Hey everyone, this is PJ Ferguson, Inner Peace Coach, author, and the founder of the Peace on Earth movement. I'm here at the Catalina United Methodist Church. I get to practice on the organ here once a week, and for those of you watching the vlog, you can see the very beautiful setting that I get to be in each week, and I'm very grateful to their giving hearts. So I thought I'd give them a shout out and maybe sneak in an Inner Peace podcast while I'm here. Since I don't have my equipment here with me, I'm actually going to do just a little bit of reading for this podcast. And so if it sounds rote, I'm sorry, it kind of is. But let's dive in. This week, the podcast focus is loving everything. We've talked about how to love yourself, different ways to love yourself, loving others, and now let's expand that love to loving everything because, this is life, it's tough, and being able to love freely and openly is one of our big challenges of being alive. So the quotes I would like to open with are by Byron Katie. She wrote a book that's called Loving What Is. I haven't actually read the book, but I've enjoyed a lot of different quotes and conversations with people who have read it, so I feel like I can recommend it, also according to her other books that I have read. Good stuff. So the first quote is, "I am a lover of what is, not because I'm a spiritual person, but because it hurts when I argue with reality." And you can probably agree with that. When we fight against life is sometimes when we experience our greatest suffering. Part of the point of life is flowing with it. And next week, the topic I'm going to talk about is flowing with life and how to turn frustration into flow. I'm going to give you some thoughts about that. And the next quote, also by Byron Katie, is, "We're all looking for love in our confusion until we find our way back to the realization that love is what we already are." And that is a concept that I personally also agree with, that we are love. We are extensions of the creative, loving universe. Many people have different descriptions of the universe. It can be cruel and unkind, yes, but I also believe that what we focus on expands. And so I choose to focus on the loving, creative aspects of life and the universe. And so the first takeaway that I have for you for loving everything is that loving everything means being grateful for the good stuff. A lot of times, probably most of the time, we take for granted the good things in our life. We just kind of expect that they'll be there again tomorrow when we wake up, and so we ignore them. We don't actually embrace them as fully as we really should. And so loving everything, love is a verb. It's actually not in my notes, but that's the biggest thing I would really like you to take away from this. Love is a verb. That's what we do. We do it from the center of our heart, our soul, who we are, just like Byron Katie was saying. And we extend that love to all things. And so make sure you're grateful for the good things in your life. Don't take them for granted. And I don't care if it's running water, electricity, a blanket to sleep in at night, a roof over your head. Be grateful for those things. Actively grateful for those good things in your life. Don't take them for granted. The next takeaway is to love the bad stuff too. This is harder to do, so I have a few different thoughts about that. The first one is to turn difficult experiences into learning lessons. Now, tough stuff is going to happen. We're going to have things that happen in our lives that we don't like, we don't want, we wish they'd go away. And in order to love those things, try to turn those things into a learning experience where you can learn and grow. You can gain new tools for living life and living it better. Maybe some of those tools you'll pick up is how to avoid those situations or those people or those choices that you may have made that brought you into that situation. So try to learn from life, especially when it brings you the bad stuff. One thing that you can do too to love the bad stuff is to share those lessons that you've learned or the tools that you've picked up with other people. That's kind of what I'm trying to do with the Inner Peace podcast. I'm sharing things that I've learned, having come from a really difficult childhood, a very difficult adult life even. I've learned a lot of difficult life lessons. And my hope is that by helping you learn the lessons and tools that I have picked up along my way, that you can either avoid those situations or maybe dig yourself out of some of those situations, make better choices, gain more peace and love and joy in your life. And that in turn brings me joy. Doing what I'm doing right now is actually not easy. I hate being in front of camera. I hate talking in front of people. I don't feel like I'm very good with words. I'm good with writing, but not speaking. But when I share these things with you, I feel like I'm learning and I'm growing, even in the things that I'm sharing with you, because I still need these tools. I need to be reminded of them and to use them myself. I'm not perfect, far from it. Well, that's going to be another Inner Peace podcast. But, share what you've learned with others. Share what you know, because when you teach something, it helps you understand it in an even deeper level than if you just try to use that tool or aspect in your life. So the next thought for how to love the bad stuff is to appreciate the personal strength that you've gained from those difficult experiences that you've had. It's kind of like when they talk about sandpaper on wood. It was rough before and now it's smooth, which we think is an improvement on the wood. But be grateful for the strength that you have now to face some of the difficulties that life will throw your way. I certainly am very grateful for the strength that I've gained. I don't think that the tough stuff that happened to me is awesome, but when I watch other people really freaking out about things that are just really a small deal, I feel so grateful that I'm like, wow, that I just hardly even noticed it because it's such a small thing, and yet that little thing is a big trial or struggle for certain people. So I'm very grateful. The story that I have about that is about 2 years ago. Wow, how time flies. I had the honor of joining the Happiness Coalition. If you don't know who they are, check them out. They're a bunch of awesome ladies, and they do happiness retreats a few times a year. And if you ever have the chance to join them on their retreats, they're awesome. But I had the even greater honor of being able to sit down at different times, not on purpose, it just happened that way, that I got to sit down one-on-one with most of the people who had attended and get to hear their stories, because these were just fantastic, wonderful, amazing ladies. You hang out with these ladies and that energy, that positive energy, you just want to soak it up because it's so great. And I asked them, how did you get to this place in your life? And all of them, every single one, had this story of they had been pushed to the very edge of what they felt like they could handle, like they just felt like they would snap. And these were major struggles in their lives. They actually, a lot of them, like me, didn't feel like we would actually make it past our own struggle. And they did. And it made them so much stronger for it. And so the point, again, of that story is that be grateful for how strong your trials and your struggles make you, because that really does give you the strength to be a happier, stronger, more joyful, more peaceful person, and to create that peace within yourself. The next takeaway for you is to remove conditions from your love. As soon as your love has conditions, rules, requirements, life has to be like this for me to love it. My circumstances have to be like that in order for me to love them. When I get to this point of my life, then I'll be happy and I'll love that. You can't have those kind of conditions, because all you will ever have is right here, right now. So every chance you have to learn how to love this moment, even if it's not awesome, the better you're going to be at creating peace and happiness every moment, every day of your life, okay? Because you're going to fight at different times in your life, and you're going to be seeking healing. And the love that you're able to put into this moment, right here, right now, is the love that's going to help you heal, okay? So the last takeaway I have for you is to practice awareness and find more things to love. Okay, open your eyes, look at the world around you, see all the awesome things. Again, this comes to being grateful for things you may have taken for granted. And, for me, I don't care if it's a bug or a hummingbird flying in a tree or tiny little things that I find are really so wonderful to just love about life. Those tiny little wonderful things, the smell of fresh cut grass. I say that because they're cutting the grass out there. I love that smell. Takes me back to my childhood, rolling in piles of cut grass. Anyway, find more things to love in your life, okay? Because the more you practice love, the better you're going to get at it. And once you are able to love everything, you'll find that perfect inner peace that you're seeking. So some homework ideas for you is to think of something in your life that's a thorn in your side. Might be a relationship that saps your energy, might be a person or a situation that constantly triggers negative thoughts and emotions. And think to yourself, how can you heal that situation? What tools can you learn or strength can you gain from it? And now, as your homework, go do your best to make things better in that situation. Whatever that thorn is, see how you can heal it. Stop avoiding it. Stop avoiding your fears about it, of what might happen. Go face it and be strong. The other homework idea goes along with the last takeaway, is just to practice awareness. Go out there and find new things to love. Go for walks every day. Instead of your normal routine, go do something different and just make it an awareness walk and find things to love about this life and about this world. It's a wonderful place, and we can make it a great life. And the quote that I'd like to leave you with is actually just mine, and it is, what is, and what will be, will be. You can love it or hate it. It's your life, and the choice is yours. So I am sending you peace, love, and happiness. And I wish you all the best, and I will see you at the next Inner Peace podcast.